What's up, America? This is Kim and Neil with Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to go over different ways to properly load a magazine and our preferred method.
Yeah, just so that we're clear, this is the reason I'm making this video is because there's a lot of ways to do something. And it's really important for me that you guys understand the why behind why I teach you something a certain way. And I'm not saying that other ways that you have seen or you may have been trained to do is necessarily incorrect. It's just that I think that there's a better way to do something, and through testing and experience, I'm going to give you the way that I find to be the best. Okay, so the reason also that we're doing this video is because this is a technique that's taught a lot in a lot of different classes. A lot of law enforcement uses this as well. But the bottom line here is I'm not bashing on another technique. I'm simply giving you an alternative, and most importantly, the why behind it. So let's get started. The technique we're going to talk about today is about reloading, but a lot of classes, agencies, companies, what have you, and nothing against them. It's always important about keeping that muzzle down range, and there's no doubt about that, specifically for safety. But when it comes to reloads, that's where I kind of differ a bit. So a lot of agencies and companies, trainers, they're going to teach you when you go to slide lock, you're going to eject your magazine, of course, insert with the muzzle down range, insert, load your gun, and then keep continuing on. I'm going to bring Kim in here in a minute. She's going to show you our method that's different than that, and then of course explain to you why we do what we do.
Now let's talk about why we don't prefer that method. So let's say that you're out and you're pointing an empty weapon at your target. What good is that to you? The goal that we're trying to do is reload this gun as quick as possible. Some may argue that the threat doesn't know that you have an unloaded gun, but if you have an unloaded gun, you shouldn't be standing in that same spot. Now we're going to do this slowly so you can see how we do this. So we bring it up into our workspace, we drop our magazine, we insert our new one, re-rack it, and go back on target. So let's do this one more time. So you're out, you bring it up into your workspace, you drop your magazine, you look it into the magazine mode, you rack the slide, and you get back on target.
So just as a review of what Kim just told you, just as a different perspective, sometimes people pick up different things from Kim and I. So same information, different delivery. The concept here that's really important here is that after I've taken my shot and I've dropped this magazine out, look, again, totally useless, no point. But getting this into this gun, critically important. So what's going to help me do that? Well, what's going to help me do that is I'm bringing the gun here so one, I can see. Two, remember, I have a non-working gun. So I can't stand here realistically. I'm not going to be in a situation where there's a threat and then go, hold on, I'm going to reload my gun. I need to move. I need to run. I need to find cover somewhere. Trying to run around and trying to get this out and look around can be more challenging. Here, I have everything where I need it to be. I can rotate anywhere I need to. Keep in mind that as I go somewhere to cover, what if you were a person right here and I have to go that way? My gun is out. Do you want me to do this as I'm getting my gun out? Regardless of the fact that it's unloaded, who knows who this is? They may, again, if you're not law enforcement security and you have a uniform of some sort, how do they know you're not one of the bad guys in this scenario? Okay? But if I come up here, I can rotate anywhere I need to, and I'm never endangering anybody unnecessarily. Plus, it allows me to have that mobility to see where I'm going. And now the big part is I can look inside this magazine well. Okay? I literally, if I put your name on the inside here, you should be able to read it because you're bringing this up enough to see. So I can choose. Do I want to look at my threat? Do I want to look where I'm running to? Probably a good idea. But my hand is automatically going to grasp this magazine. We'll talk about indexing in other videos as well. But then I'm going to insert into my gun here so I can get back on target. Okay? But the bottom line of this whole deal is I need to be in a scenario where this gun is to me, I have mobility, and I can as effectively and as quickly as possible get this into my gun. Okay, that's key. All right, so there's one other thing that we were talking about during one of the breaks here that Kim brought up. Because I have big gargantuan hands, I can hit a magazine release very easily without having to do anything with the gun. But that's not everybody's case. It's like small hands Kim here. So go ahead and explain that one.
I'm shooting Neil's Legion today, and I really had to turn the gun a lot more than I'm used to because I have a lot smaller thumbs. And I noticed too when we have classes and things like that, the people, especially with like Glocks, they have a hard time pressing that magazine release. So you really have to turn the gun more so you can press the release and the magazine will fall. So look here, I'm really trying my hardest to press the magazine release and I cannot reach it no matter how hard I try. But if I rotate it in more, I'm able to press it and release the magazine. Now let's do this live fire.
So first I'll demonstrate the way I don't prefer as much. So we're out on our target, we take a shot, I drop my mag out, I try to find a box in that space. Okay, now let's look at that compared to our method. So I come out, take my shot, bring it in so I can see what I'm doing, insert, and take my shot. Much different. I get a much more effective view of the pistol, plus I can move around if I need to. Again guys, so we're not bashing anybody's technique or method. You may have seen that from other places. Pretty much every state has some type of organization that sets curriculum and whatnot for law enforcement, security and whatnot. So I know personally I've had training where they do that method. Again, just giving you an alternative and you understanding the why behind it, why we feel it's a little bit more effective.
We hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please give us a thumbs up, like it, share it, comment. We always appreciate that. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and also click that little bell, so if you don't click it, then you don't get notified that we have videos out. You can find us, of course, here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. We also started a Twitter, and you can find all our premium...
We started a Twitter?
Yeah, he doesn't even know.
We started a Twitter. We're tweeting.
I'm figuring it out.
I'm a tweeter now. Right? Tweeter?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Tweeting it up.
We put our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.
We really have a Twitter account?
Yeah, I made
What's
one.
What's it called?
Geauga Firearms.
Okay.